The 1988 embarrassment. The 1988 Seoul Olympics represent a catastrophic failure for the United States men's basketball program, which had previously dominated the sport for decades. The American team, adhering to its long-standing tradition of using only amateur college players, faces the Soviet Union in a pivotal semifinal match. The Soviets, a team of seasoned international veterans, proceed to defeat the United States in a stunning 82-76 upset. This loss is a profound shock to the American program, which had previously lost only one Olympic game in its entire history. The roster, which includes future Spurs star David Robinson alongside college standouts Danny Manning and Dan Reichel, ultimately settles for a deeply disappointing bronze medal. This third-place finish is viewed as an unacceptable result by USA basketball leadership. The era of amateur-only American Olympic participation effectively ends with this 76-80 loss. The fallout from the Seoul defeat is immediate, forcing international basketball's governing body, FIBA, to reconsider its foundational rules regarding amateurism. The organization convenes in April 1989, specifically to debate the inclusion of professional athletes in their tournaments. Recognizing that excluding the NBA's best players was no longer tenable, the Soviets, ironically, had been fielding state-sponsored professional amateurs for decades. The resulting vote is a declarative landslide, 56-13 in favor of authorizing full professional participation. This 1989 decision completely rewrites the future of the Olympic Games. This FIBA ruling is the specific mechanism that authorizes the creation of the 1992 roster. The roster. Following the 1989 FIBA rule change, USA Basketball assembles its first-ever professional roster for the 1990 Barcelona Olympics. The selection committee chooses 11 of the NBA's most dominant legends, reserving only one symbolic spot for a college player, Christian Laettner of Duke. The team's core features the sport's three defining figures Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and Larry Bird, uniting them on one roster for the first and only time. This team's talent depth is statistically unprecedented, as the average player selected for the squad was already a 10-time NBA All-Star. Coach Chuck Daly, recognizing the global frenzy surrounding his players, famously described their arrival in Europe as being like Elvis and the Beatles. The selection process, however, is not without significant controversy, as it results in the infamous snub of Detroit Pistons guard Isaiah Thomas. Thomas, widely regarded as one of the best point guards of the era, is conspicuously left off the team, largely due to his intense rivalry with Michael Jordan. This decision highlights the intense animosity that existed between many of these 1980s superstars. The final roster includes 11 future Hall of Fame players, creating a concentration of talent that had never been seen before. Before this roster could be unleashed on the world in Barcelona, Coach Daly first had to manage these massive egos during their initial training camp. Monte Carlo. During the team's training camp in Monte Carlo, Coach Chuck Daly orchestrates an internal practice scrimmage that becomes the stuff of legend. This contest is famously dubbed the greatest game nobody ever saw, because it was played in private, yet featured a level of competition that arguably surpassed the actual Olympic tournament. Daly intentionally divides his roster to create a competitive imbalance, pitting Magic Johnson's white team featuring Barkley, Robinson, and Bird against Michael Jordan's blue team with Pippen, Malone, and Ewing. The game begins as a showcase for Magic's squad, which quickly builds a lead while Johnson directs a relentless stream of trash talk, specifically at Jordan. This verbal taunting proves to be a tactical error, as it activates Jordan's notorious competitive drive, causing him to completely take over the scrimmage. Jordan responds with an unstoppable offensive barrage, ultimately leading his blue team to a decisive comeback victory. The outcome of this single practice game is deeply symbolic, representing the definitive passing of the torch from the NBA's 1980s icons, Magic and Bird, to the league's undisputed new alpha, Michael Jordan. Daly later admitted he designed the matchup precisely to achieve this result. The coach summarized the confrontation by stating, "They knew who the best team was," confirming that the internal power structure was now settled. With their internal hierarchy firmly established, the unified Dream Team prepares to face its first official Olympic competition in Spain. Barcelona 1990. To the 1990 Dream Team immediately announces its arrival at the Barcelona Olympics with its very first game, dismantling Angola in a 116-48 rout. This contest also features Charles Barkley's infamous elbow against a slider Angolan player, signaling that the NBA professionals were not merely there for a friendly exhibition. Throughout the entire 8-game tournament, The team's dominance is so absolute that head coach Chuck Daly famously never calls a single timeout. He recognizes that his roster can autonomously manage any situation presented by their overmatched international opponents. This unprecedented decision highlights the massive chasm in talent between the USA and the rest of the world. The team proceeds to win every single game by an average margin of victory of 43.8 points, a figure that quantifies the complete lack of viable competition. International opponents often seem more interested in securing photographs with the legends than in actually competing against them. Croatia's Toni Kukoc, a future teammate of Jordan's, was a notable exception to this rule. This dominant procession culminates in the gold medal game, where the USA defeats a talented Croatian team led by Drazen Petrovic by a final score of 117-85. The 1990 Olympics are no longer just a tournament. They are a coronation that confirms the total global takeover of American professional basketball. This 1990 standard of untouchable dominance creates immense pressure for the next iteration of the team for years later. Dream Team 2 for the 1996 Olympic Games in Atlanta. The United States assembles a new roster to compete on home soil. This iteration of the team sees significant turnover as 5 members from the legendary 1990 squad, including Michael Jordan and Larry Bird, declined to participate. USA Basketball therefore looks to the NBA's next generation of dominant superstars to carry the torch. The new roster is consequently built around an imposing frontcourt featuring Hakeem Olajuwon and a young Shaquille O'Neal, complemented by dynamic perimeter players like Penny Hardaway. This dream team carries the immense pressure of repeating the 1990 performance in front of an American audience. While this team remains incredibly dominant, it does not quite replicate the historic statistical separation achieved by its predecessor. The 1996 team marches through the tournament undefeated, winning its games by an average margin of victory of 31.8 points. This margin, while massive, was a full 12 points lower than the 1992 team's average. The tournament concludes with an expected gold medal victory, as the USA defeats a strong team from Yugoslavia, featuring Vlade Divac, by a final score of 95-69. The win is seen as the required sequel to Barcelona, successfully defending American supremacy for another 4 years. This continued success, however, sets the stage for a completely new roster to face a rapidly improving international field in 2000. Sydney 2000. The 2000 Olympic Games at Sydney feature a roster, sometimes dubbed Dream Team 3, that marks a complete generational shift for USA basketball. For the first time, not a single player from the 1992 or 1996 gold medal teams is present on the active roster. This new squad is instead built around the league's emerging athletic superstars, including Vince Carter, Kevin Garnett, and Jason Kidd. While the team still possesses immense talent, it lacks the cohesive veteran presence of the previous 2 iterations. This group is defined by its explosive athleticism, which is immortalized in one iconic, almost unbelievable moment. During a game against France, Vince Carter accomplishes the dunk, successfully leaping entirely over 7 feet to French center Frederick Weiss for a slam. Despite Carter's gravity-defying highlight, the Sydney tournament clearly demonstrates that the rest of the world is rapidly closing the talent gap. The era of 40-point blowouts is officially over, as the American team begins to show clear signs of vulnerability against more disciplined international squads. This vulnerability becomes terrifyingly apparent in the semifinal match against Lithuania, a game the USA barely survives. The Americans cling to a narrow 85-83 lead in the final seconds. This Lithuanian team, unlike Angola in '92, was not intimidated in the slightest. Lithuania's star guard, Zarinas Jaskevicius, gets a clean look for a potential game-winning three-pointer at the buzzer, but the shot just misses. This near disaster in the semifinal is a critical warning sign that the era of automatic gold medals is over, setting the stage for the true collapse just 2 years later. INDY 2000 to the 2000 FIBA World Championship, held in Indianapolis, marks the first true collapse of America's professional basketball dominance. This tournament is not a distant Olympic event, it is played on home soil, which amplifies the pressure and the subsequent humiliation. The American team, which had never lost a single game with NBA players, proceeds to lose 3 separate contests during the championship. They are defeated by Argentina, then Yugoslavia, and finally Spain, demonstrating a systemic failure against multiple international powers. This string of losses culminates in the team finishing in a shocking 6th place. an outcome previously unthinkable for the program. The primary cause for this failure is traced back to the roster construction, as many of the NBA's top-tier superstars, including Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, declined their invitations to play. The resulting team, led by players like Paul Pierce and Reggie Miller, is still talented but lacks the overwhelming force of previous squads. This group proves ill-equipped to handle the sophisticated, team-oriented offenses of its international rivals. This wasn't a team of scrubs, but it clearly lacked the chemistry and top-end power of even the 2000 team. The Indianapolis failure proves that the United States can no longer simply send a collection of B-level stars and expect to win. This disastrous sixth-place finish should have triggered a complete system overhaul, but the organization fails to learn the lesson, directly setting the stage for an even more high-profile failure at the next Olympics. Athens 0 for the 2004 Olympic Games in Athens marked the absolute lowest point for the American program, resulting in the infamous Nightmare Team moniker, repeating the organizational failure of 2002. Many of the NBA's premier superstars once again declined their invitations to participate. This mass exodus forces USA Basketball to build its roster around the available established veterans, primarily scoring champion Allen Iverson and reigning MVP Tim Duncan. The remaining roster spots are consequently filled by extremely young and unproven talent, including a 19-year-old LeBron James and a 20-year-old Carmelo Anthony. This awkward mix of defiant veterans and raw rookies proves to be an immediate chemistry problem. Compounding the roster issues is the selection of head coach Larry Brown, whose traditional, defense-first coaching philosophy clashes severely with the individualistic style of his key players. This internal dysfunction manifests immediately on the court during the team's opening game. Against Puerto Rico, the Americans suffer an astonishing 92-73 loss, a 19-point blowout that signals the team is in profound trouble. This defeat is the first Olympic loss for the USA since sending professional players. This opening 19-point loss is not an isolated incident, as the team's struggles continue throughout the entire Athens tournament, leading to the program's worst-ever finish. The bronze the 2004 team's struggles continue far beyond their opening loss, culminating in an unthinkable 3 total defeats during the Athens tournament. This string of failures shatters the remaining aura of American invincibility that had defined the program since 1992. The definitive, gold medal eliminating loss occurs in the semifinal match against Argentina's Golden Generation team. The Americans are decisively beaten 89-81, failing to find an answer for their sophisticated, team-first defense. San Antonio Spurs guard Manu Ginobili leads the Argentinian charge, systematically dismantling the U.S. defense and recording 29 points. This 8-point defeat boosts the USA out of gold medal contention entirely. The 89-81 loss to Argentina provides definitive proof that the 6th-place finish at the 2000 FIBA World Championship was not a fluke. The international game, built on team chemistry and ball movement, has simply surpassed America's disorganized collection of individuals. The rest of the world had officially caught up, and the American program's reliance on raw talent alone was no longer a viable strategy. The Nightmare Team is therefore relegated to the 3rd-place game, where they secure a bronze medal. This result is categorized as a total system failure for USA Basketball. This catastrophic bronze medal finish directly forces the organization to completely restructure its entire approach to international competition. Colangelo, in direct response to the 2004 Athens humiliation, USA Basketball undergoes a complete institutional overhaul in 2005. The organization appoints veteran NBA executive Jerry Colangelo as the new managing director, granting him full authority to rebuild the entire program from the ground up. Colangelo immediately identifies the core problem: the inconsistent, last-minute assembly of pickup teams lacks the cohesion of their international rivals. He therefore institutes a revolutionary new rule, requiring all players to make a mandatory 3-year commitment to the national team. This new policy is specifically designed to build a consistent program, rather than just a temporary roster, fostering the chemistry and trust that had been missing. Colangelo's next foundational move is to appoint Duke University's legendary Mike Krzyzewski as the new head coach, bringing a stable, long-term vision to the sideline. This new structured approach immediately gains the critical buy-in it needs, as Kobe Bryant joins the program, setting a new standard of professionalism and accountability for other NBA superstars. This commitment from Bryant, the league's most dedicated competitor, was a massive cultural victory for Colangelo. Despite this new leadership and star power, the team is not instantly fixed, as they suffer a stinging semifinal loss to Greece in the 2006 FIBA World Championship. This 2006 defeat, however, serves as the final piece of motivation. This final loss solidifies the team's focus and sets the stage for their singular mission of redemption at the 2008 Beijing Games. Redeem Team. The 2008 Beijing Olympics is the target for Colangelo's reform program, and this new roster is assembled with a singular mission, redeeming the failures of 2002 and 2004. This squad, aptly named the Redeem Team, features the full commitment of the NBA's elite, including Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, and Chris Paul. Unlike the 2004 team, this group is not a dysfunctional mix of styles. It is a dedicated unit built specifically to counter the international game. Coach Krzyzewski and Kobe Bryant instill a new culture centered entirely on intense defense and unwavering professionalism. This new commitment is immediately established by the team's leader. During their very first Olympic game, in that opening match against Spain, Kobe Bryant makes a statement by running directly through his own Lakers teammate, Pau Gasol, on a hard screen, demonstrating that there would be no friendships on the court. This single play set the tone for the entire tournament. The USA was finished playing nice. This renewed defensive intensity and focus translates directly into dominant results. As the Americans reverse the trend of close games, the Redeem Team proceeds to win all of its games in the tournament by a commanding average margin of victory of 27.9 points. This dominant run restores the program's intimidating aura and propels them directly into a highly anticipated gold medal showdown against that same Spanish team. Spain 2008. The 2008 gold medal game in Beijing features the highly anticipated rematch between the United States and a formidable Spanish national team. This Spanish roster is not a sacrificial opponent. It is a loaded squad featuring NBA stars Pau and Marc Gasol alongside elite EuroLeague guard Juan Carlos Navarro. The game immediately proves to be the toughest Olympic final in American professional history, as Spain's sophisticated offense consistently answers every American run. The pace is blistering, and Spain refuses to be intimidated by the American defensive pressure. With only 8 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, the United States finds itself clinging to a precarious three-point lead, 90-89. This 90-89 score represents the first time the Redeem Team has faced genuine league game adversity, placing their entire four-year mission in jeopardy. In this critical moment, team leader Kobe Bryant takes definitive control of the game. He receives a pass on the wing, rises up for a contested three-pointer while being fouled by Rudy Fernandez, and sinks the shot, resulting in a crucial four-point play. That shot wasn't just a score, it was the final, definitive statement of his leadership. This play functions as the dagger, breaking Spain's momentum and giving the USA the breathing room it needs to close out the game. The United States holds on to win 118-107, securing the gold medal. This 11-point victory completes the mission of redemption, and it also provides the cultural blueprint for the next generation of stars to follow in 2012. London 2012. The 2012 London Olympics team follows the successful 2008 model, but with significant roster updates. This tournament marks the final Olympic appearance for Kobe Bryant, who returns alongside veterans like LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony. The roster is infused with a new generation of high-powered scorers, specifically Oklahoma City's Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, their teammate James Harden, and rebounding specialist Kevin Love. This infusion of young, offensive-minded talent shifts the team's identity even further, resulting in a historically potent offense. This new group's primary identity is its overwhelming offensive capability, which it displays in a record-shattering preliminary game. The defining moment of this team's dominance occurs during a preliminary round game against Nigeria, where the United States wins by an astonishing 83-point margin, 156-73. This offensive explosion is fueled by a record-breaking 29 made three-pointers on just 46 attempts. Carmelo Anthony, serving as the team's primary bench scorer, leads this barrage by recording 37 points in only 14 minutes of play. This 156-point total set a new Olympic record for most points scored in a single game. This historically lopsided victory demonstrates the team's offensive ceiling, though their final challenge would prove far more difficult. For the second consecutive Olympics, the gold medal game features a showdown between the United States and Spain. Unlike the 2008 final, this contest is even tighter, as Spain's veteran offense, led by Pau Gasol, consistently challenges the Americans. The USA ultimately secures the gold medal with a 107-100 victory, a 7-point margin that is 4 points closer than the 2008 result. This 107-100 win solidifies the success of the Colangelo era and provides a gold medal send-off for Kobe Bryant. This victory marks the end of an era for several key veterans, forcing USA basketball to find a new core leadership group for the 2016 Games in Rio. Rio 2016, the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio see a significant roster turnover, as many of the NBA's established superstars, include LeBron James and Steph Curry, elect to sit out. This wave of absences forces USA basketball to rely on a different core leadership group. The team is consequently built around veteran forward Carmelo Anthony, who is chasing a historic third Olympic gold medal, and primary scoring threat Kevin Durant. This new configuration, while still exceptionally talented, lacks the overwhelming veteran presence of the 2008 and 2012 squads. This roster, defined more by scoring than by the defensive identity of the redeemed team, immediately faces unexpected challenges. This 2016 roster struggles to achieve the comfortable separation of its predecessors, appearing vulnerable during preliminary play. The team survives several unexpectedly difficult challenges, including a close 10-point victory against Australia and a narrow 3-point win against Serbia. These tight margins demonstrate just how much the international field has improved. Compounding these on-court issues was the broke team controversy, an off-court distraction involving several players, including Draymond Green and DeMarcus Cousins. These shaky performances during group play create significant doubt about their ability to secure the gold, as they look beatable for the first time since 2004. Despite the earlier struggles, the American team delivers its most dominant performance in the gold medal final, which is a rematch against that same Serbian team. In this decisive game, all vulnerability disappears as the USA cruises to a 96-66 blowout victory, securing the gold by a 30-point margin. This commanding win provides a third gold for Carmelo Anthony and cements Kevin Durant as the program's new centerpiece. This 2016 victory also marks the official end of Mike Krzyzewski's highly successful tenure as head coach. This departure ushers in a new coaching era under Greg Popovich, who is immediately tasked with preparing for the Tokyo Olympics. Tokyo 2020. The Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games were delayed by a full year due to the global COVID-19 pandemic, forcing the tournament to be played within a restrictive bubble environment in 2021. This event also marked a significant leadership transition for USA basketball, as veteran San Antonio Spurs coach Greg Popovich officially took over the head coaching duties from Mike Krzyzewski. Popovich's new tenure, however, began with immediate and severe instability. During the team's preliminary exhibition games, the USA suffered a shocking loss to Nigeria, highlighting significant issues with roster cohesion. This defeat was a major warning sign that the 2021 team lacked the immediate chemistry of its predecessors. The fears raised by the exhibition schedule were realized almost immediately during the official tournament. Following the shocking 83-76 loss to France, the responsibility for stabilizing the 2021 team falls directly onto its most experienced international player, Kevin Durant. Durant immediately asserts his offensive dominance, carrying the team through the remaining group play in knockout rounds. During this critical stretch, he officially surpasses Carmelo Anthony to become the all-time leading scorer in USA men's Olympic history. The team's chemistry also begins to solidify, significantly aided by the late arrivals of Drew Holiday, Devin Booker, and Chris Middleton, who flew in immediately after the NBA Finals. This combination of Durant's leadership and a finally settled roster allows the Americans to win their next 5 consecutive games. This 5-game winning streak successfully rights the ship and propels Team USA into a high-stakes gold medal final. The opponent in the championship game is none other than France, the same team that had defeated them 83-76 in the tournament opener. Unlike the blowouts of previous eras, this gold medal match is a defensive, low-scoring grinder, as France's size and defense challenge the USA on every possession. Kevin Durant once again serves as the primary offensive engine, delivering a masterful 29-point performance to keep the French team at bay. The Americans ultimately secure a tough 87-82 victory, successfully capturing the gold medal in a grueling contest. This hard-fought 5-point win salvages the Tokyo campaign, but the narrow margin confirms the end of overwhelming American dominance. This close call directly influences the roster-building philosophy for the 2020 for Paris Games. The Avengers, the assembly of the 2020 for Paris Olympic team. is a direct reaction to another embarrassing international failure just 1 year prior. In the 2023 FIBA World Cup, a B-tier American roster fails to medal entirely, finishing in a deeply disappointing 4th place. This loss triggers an immediate response from the NBA's aging superstars, who commit to restoring American dominance for the upcoming Olympics. Consequently, the Paris roster becomes an Avengers-style super team, led by a 39-year-old LeBron James and the returning Kevin Durant. This team also secures the commitment of 36-year-old Stephen Curry, who is notably participating in his first ever Olympic Games. This legendary core is reinforced by a roster stacked with reigning MVPs and All-NBA talent, including Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, Devin Booker, and Anthony Davis, creating a depth chart unseen since 1992. Golden State Warriors coach Steve Kerr takes over the head coaching duties, tasked with managing this immense collection of talent. This group's formation feels less like a team and more like a final statement to the rest of the world. The entire event carries the unmistakable atmosphere of a last dance for the dominant legends of the 2010s era. This veteran-laden super team now faces the immense pressure of not just winning gold, but winning it decisively on French soil. Paris 2020 for the 2024 Paris Olympics immediately prove that the era of 1992-style Dream Team romps is permanently over, as the international field is simply too skilled. Despite assembling an Avengers roster, the American team does not cruise through the tournament. This new, competitive reality is made clear during a difficult semifinal match against a veteran Serbian team, which pushes the Americans for the full 40 minutes. The USA secures a hard-fought 106-97 victory, but this 9-point margin highlights the extreme difficulty of the modern tournament. This grueling win sets the stage for a highly anticipated gold medal game against the host nation. The championship game pits the United States against France, a team now built around the generational 7'4" center Victor Wembanyama, playing in front of a passionate home crowd. The French team presents the final, significant hurdle to the American super team's mission. In the decisive final, 36-year-old Stephen Curry, in his first Olympic appearance, delivers a clutch performance, leading the team with 24 points. The United States successfully pulls away late to secure the gold medal with a 98-87 victory, an 11-point margin that reflects a tough, competitive contest rather than a blowout. This 98-87 win accomplishes the primary mission, successfully avenging the 4th-place failure from the 2023 FIBA World Cup. The victory also provides a final gold medal send-off for the 2010s-era legends like LeBron James and Stephen Curry. This team won the gold, but they never achieved the 40-point average margins of victory that defined the 1992 roster. The entire 2024 tournament solidifies a new, permanent reality for the program. The job was finished and the gold was secured, but the competitive gap between the USA and the rest of the world has officially closed for good.